You hear the name Simone Biles, and you probably think one thing: the GOAT, the greatest of all time. But what does that title really mean? Let's get into the story of an athlete who didn't just climb to the top of her sport, she completely redefined it.
Okay, let's just start with a number. 41. That's how many world championship and Olympic medals she has, combined. Just let that sink in for a second.
And yeah, that number, 41, gives her a title that is just undisputed. By the numbers, she's the most decorated gymnast the sport has ever seen, period.
But come on, we all know the story of Simone Biles is about so much more than just a medal count, right? Her journey really challenges our whole idea of what greatness is. So, what truly makes her the GOAT?
To really get it, we've got to go back, way back to the beginning, to a prodigy's rise that was anything but easy.
So Simone was born in Ohio, but her early life, well, it was tough, really tough. Her birth mother struggled to care for her and her siblings, which led to them spending time in foster care. It wasn't until she was 6 that she and her sister were formally adopted by their grandparents, Ron and Nellie. That's a challenging start that built this foundation of just incredible resilience.
And that toughness, it just fueled this absolutely explosive rise to the top. By 2013, boom, she's the world all-around champion, the first African-American to ever hold that title. Then she did something no woman had ever done before. She won it 3 years in a row. All of this led up to the 2016 Rio Olympics, where she just dominated, winning 4 gold medals and cementing her place as a true legend.
But here's the thing, she wasn't just winning, she was literally changing the physics of the sport. She has 5, count 'em, 5 skills named after her. Each one of them just completely shattered what people thought was humanly possible. She wasn't playing the game, she was rewriting the rulebook.
And this photo from Rio, man, it just captures that whole era perfectly, doesn't it? It's a picture of pure, unbreakable focus, power, and grace. She was on top of the entire world.
But all that pressure, all that weight, it was building up to something. And that something was the most dramatic, unexpected turn in her entire career, the Tokyo Olympics. So picture this. It's the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. The expectations are just sky high, monumental. She was the face of the games, favored to win a historic number of gold medals. The whole world was watching, expecting another coronation. And then the unthinkable happened. She got what gymnasts called the twisties. Now, if you don't know what that is, it is terrifying. It's a dangerous mental block where your brain and your body just disconnect mid-air. You literally lose your sense of where you are. For a gymnast doing these insane moves, that's not just a mistake, it's an enormous safety risk. So, in a move that honestly just stunned the entire world, she withdrew from several events. And her own words say it all. I say put mental health first. It shows how strong of a competitor and person that you really are. Think about the courage that takes. That might be a stronger move than any routine she's ever done.
But her Tokyo story wasn't done. She came back for one last event, the balance beam. She performed a modified, safer routine and won a bronze medal. And you know what? She later said that bronze meant more to her than any of her golds, because it was a symbol of her fight, of putting herself first.
And this new focus, it wasn't just about her own mental health. It was about finding her voice and using it to fight for other people.
Now, Simone had already come forward as one of the hundreds of survivors of the awful abuse scandal involving the former team doctor Larry Nassar. But in 2021, she took that fight all the way to the U.S. Senate, testifying right alongside her fellow survivors. And in her testimony, she did not hold back. She stated so powerfully that the entire system had failed to protect her and so many others. She used her massive platform to demand real accountability from some of the biggest organizations in sports.
So after completely changing the conversation around mental health and athlete safety, a lot of people probably thought her competitive career was over. But Simone Biles, she had one more chapter to write.
After taking 2 whole years off, she came back to competition in 2023. And did she just come back? No way. She came back and dominated. Right away, she won her 8th U.S. all-around title. You know how old that record was that she broke? 90 years. 90! It was like she never left.
And just look at these 2 pictures. They tell the whole story, right? On the left, that's Rio 2016. Pure, focused dominance. Then on the right, you've got Paris 2024. You still see that incredible power, but look at her face. That's joy. That is personal triumph. That's the look of someone who went from carrying the weight of expectation to the lightness of self-fulfillment. And Paris was her writing her own ending. She led Team USA to gold, then won her second individual all-around Olympic title, and get this, she's the first gymnast ever to win that title non-consecutively. This time, victory wasn't defined by pressure. It was about joy. It was for her.
So that brings us back to where we started. Simone Biles absolutely changed the sport of gymnastics, no question. The medals, the skills, it's all there. But maybe, just maybe, her biggest legacy is how she completely changed the conversation about strength, vulnerability, and what it truly means to be a champion.